Okay. So I think we're recording now. Okay.
Thanks, Heather.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I am Michelle Kimball. I am not Heather Gorsuch. I'm just logged in under her. I am a superstar consultant from Brandywine, West Virginia. And Amy is here. She's going to help me tonight. So Amy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Ray. So I'm Amy Edwards. I'm from right outside of Pittsburgh. I'm a director, and hold on, she wants to show you a picture really fast.
No, you.
Oh, hold on. This is her picture she just drew. If it's a little loud, I'm going to mute myself sometimes because it's a little loud in here, but that's her picture. She's been drawing. We're at a Ninja Warrior practice. So, but Michelle's going to do awesome. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. I'm going to mute until you need me, if that's okay.
That's fine. So I want to thank everyone for hopping on. Every time we do a training or something, I heard one time that when you show up, you go up, and it's just stuck in my head forever because I always wanted to go up. And so I try to go to as many trainings as I can. And so thank you all for coming and getting on tonight because that means you want to learn too. So that's awesome. And I want you to feel free to jump in and ask questions whenever you want to because I am by no means an expert. I'm just here to share because Heather asked me to. So, and there is a chat box if you want to type questions. I think Amy's going to help me kind of keep up with that. So we are talking hostess coaching tonight, and I'm going to be honest. When Heather asked me to do this, she said I could pick whatever topic I wanted, and I purposefully picked something that I'm not super good at, which probably doesn't sound the best because you're like, well, great, I don't want to hear from her. But I purposely did that so that I could do some research because I want to get better at it myself. I feel like I'm pretty good at it with basket parties, not so good with home parties and those kind of things. So when I think of successful parties, which is what hostess coaching is supposed to do for us, I really think of like two things. The most important, I think, is your hostesses being excited because that can make or break a party. And then the second thing is like how many people they reach out to with the party. Whether that be home parties, how many people they get to come, basket parties, how many people they share the baskets with, and things like that. So I have some ideas on how to get your hostesses excited, and I have some resources to share with you. So the very first thing I think to get your hostesses excited is to make sure that they are making a wish list. Not all of my hostesses do that, but the ones who do seem more motivated than the ones that don't, because they are making a list of what they want. You can tell them, okay, I think we need to aim for a $350 party to get all of your stuff for free or half price. Or if they have a really big list, $500. But I definitely think it's important for them to make their list because that's really what's going to motivate them to do well. Because that's the whole reason why hostesses do parties, right? Is to get free stuff. Hold on a second. Heather is texting me saying, can you send me the Zoom link? Hey, Amy, do you want to say something while I text her this? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, so going off a little bit, how she said to make the wish list, I also agree with that for sure because they want to see kind of on paper, what they're trying to get. So that way you can really go over the hostess rewards with them and they can be like actively involved in it. I always try to get everybody to 500 because it jumps to 15% instead of the 10%, which goes up to, if you go, like $450 or whatever, it's $45 and free. But if they do $50 more, it jumps to $75. So I always make sure they know that and get really excited to go for the 500 just to show them the jump. Go ahead.
Can I? The first one, what is that?
Yeah, I can.
Hold on 1 second.
I completely agree with that. So I have been trying to get out of saying, a lot of people want to say, oh, well, how much do you need to have a party? And, I think our go-to is, oh, well, you only need $200. But when you say that, that's all that they shoot for is 200. So I'm really trying to get out of that and maybe saying, well, it only takes 200, but my average parties are $500 parties, so that they go, oh, well, that's the average. That's probably what I need to aim for then. So I definitely agree with you there. Another thing that you can do to get your hostesses excited is to offer incentives. Now, usually all of this coaching is going on like one-to-one communication, right? So we're totally allowed to offer incentives as long as it's one-to-one. So, I mean, I know probably a lot of us have seen those tic-tac-toe hostess things where they can, if they do 3 things and get a line, then they get a prize. Which I'm going to be honest, I've done that in some of my basket parties, and not a lot of them actually took advantage of it. I've talked to some of my hostesses before, and they said, well, I just didn't think I could do it, so I didn't do it. I think sometimes just saying they're getting a prize and not being specific, because I think on my tic-tac-toe board I said if you got a line, you got like $5 of extra free credit or something like that. I told them the prize. I think almost by keeping it a secret, it maybe makes them more interested in, okay, I'll do that to figure out what the prize is. So that is something you can do. I did see, I'm on this meeting. What? Sorry. Okay. I'm not really sure how you.
Whoa, I think I made it.
Oh, well. Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Okay. Is that better? Okay, there we go. Yes. Okay. So, for repeat hostesses, so I got this really neat idea for from gosh, I can't think. From Reunion, I went to a booth, and they for repeat hostesses gave incentives, and I actually just made this on Canva really quick. And I know it's probably backwards, but it's an incentive for your repeat hostesses to do a party. So it says, here are a few ways for you to earn and keep the products from the basket party. For each item completed, you get 1 item from the party to keep. So including small things in your basket parties, like a bar or a scent circle or a room spray. And if you're new, probably don't do this. You should probably get these things by getting like host rewards from parties. You can include them in your baskets. But if they get like 25 different orders, they get to keep something out of your bag. If everyone fills out their order form with their name, number, email, and mailing address, they get to keep something out of the bag. Collecting $500 in sales, they get to keep something. Collecting $750 in sales, they get to keep something. Collecting $1,000, they get to keep something. Finding 3 new people who have never ordered through your basket party before, they would get to keep something. And finding 1 person who wants to host a party to earn free and half off rewards, they could keep something. You could even change those numbers. Like if it's a person who typically only has like a $200 party, you could make it like collect $250, $3, and $350, just encouraging them to push to get more. I thought that was a neat idea to like give an incentive to people who maybe host with you, more than one time. So that's kind of my ideas on how to get your hostesses excited. Does anybody else have any other ideas? Because I really do think your hostesses, their excitement is what is going to make or break your party. I really do. I mean, I think our coaching can make a difference, but I definitely think they're the ones that know the people that they're going to be selling to. And, you can coach as much as you want, but it really is up to your hostesses to do the work. And we've all had those hostesses that, sign up to do a party and don't really do anything, and then their parties kind of flop, right? We've all had that. But trying to get them motivated and excited to do well, I think can make a difference. Does anyone have any other ideas on how to motivate your hostesses?
So I have a few things to add. I was going to wait to see if anybody had anything, but I wasn't sure. So I'll go first here. So um, I know you probably covered this a little bit, or maybe all of it, but the online parties. So for the online parties, I really, really try to get the hostess involved with like tagging people, being really excited, interacting on all of the posts. Because if you have a hostess that's there but is not commenting or just liking the post, it's not going to do anything. And people, like, they don't really care, honestly, what I have to say. Like, I could talk forever and they'd be like, I don't actually care. So, but if they see the hostess really interacting, be like, oh my gosh, I love this. I got this last week. It's awesome. Look how it lights up in the room. Anything personal. I've even had hostess tag people who they think would like the things I posted. And that works really well because then they for sure see it and they kind of feel like, sometimes they should probably interact too. I do some different things with like, what's your favorite in them? So there is a little bit more interaction so they feel comfortable coming and interacting with it. And that's just like the most important thing. I'm always on them saying, make sure you get on the page, make sure you like a few things, comment, because that's super important with the online anyways. And then I always tell my home party people to reach out in other ways than just like a Facebook invite, because that's super generic. So if they need to text people, they need to call people if they want, email them, send out invites in the mail. That's super important with it too. A little bit like of coaching there, because the general just Facebook invite, I mean, people can ignore that super easy. So let's see what else I have here. Yeah, and if you have repeat customers who do them, you can always offer themes to make it more exciting for both them and their guests, so it's not the same thing. You can do themes so they get excited again about it. So if it's like their fifth party, they might be like, okay, I'm just having a get together. We'll just like sit down and do whatever. But if you do a theme, it'll be a little bit different. People can have fun with it, dress up, whatever they want to do. And let's see. Yeah, so I can mute myself and come back on later. Anybody else has some things they want to say?
Does anybody else have any suggestions on how to motivate our hostesses? I agree with everything that Amy had said. Okay, so I think key is getting your hostesses excited, and then the second thing is getting people to attend, whether that means in person or sharing the bags with people if you're doing a party on the go, or getting people to attend your Facebook parties. So I think we all have heard the kind of like the statistics that like 1 out of every 10 people that you invite show up. So if they're only inviting 20 people, statistically you can count on 2 people being at a party. And I think our goal is probably to get at least like 10 people there. So in order to do that, think about it. You have to invite 100 people. And what people typically do is they just go on Facebook, they make a generic post and say, hey, I'm having a Scentsy party, who wants an invite? And it's like crickets, like, right? We've all seen that, or I have. So making sure, like Amy said, making sure that your hostesses know to personally reach out to people, and being clear that that does not mean typing up a message that you just copy and paste, those, hey girl, I'm having a Scentsy party, I'd love for you to come. Like, you can copy and paste that and mass message like 50 people. And I think we all know when we get those, it's like, oh, you really just mass messaged that and sent it to me, right? I just had a friend who sent me a message, and I totally could tell she had been hostess coached. She was doing a Usborne Books party, and she said, hey, Michelle, I hope that your school year is going good. She's another teacher, so she was like, mine's, because I'm a full-time teacher, by the way. She's like, my year is going kind of crazy too. and then she like led into the books, and I was like, wow, she really just hooked me, because like it seemed like a personal message to me. And then I felt bad because I didn't really want to go. Is that awful? I didn't want to go to this party, but I felt like, okay, she really did like reach out to me. She put effort into writing it to me, making it personal. Now I feel like I really should go, because she's totally going to know if I don't answer her. So like, not that we want people to feel guilty to go, but like that's how you do it. That's how you make it personal. So, you know, I know a lot of people will give their hostesses kind of like a verbiage on what to say. But I definitely think reaching out personally. My most recent basket party host, she ended up with like a $750 party, which is the biggest basket party that I've ever had somebody do. And I asked her, I'm like, okay, I mean, I did everything what I normally do with all my others, but I said, what do you think was the key to your success in this? And she said, well, as soon as I knew I was having a party, I messaged all of my friends and said, hey, like, I'm having a party, you know, I really want you to like meet up with me and smell the scents. Like, she made it personal and reached out, and she really thought that that was the key. So definitely making your invitations personal. And then let's see, you know, they have those papers that are like 40 guests in 4 minutes. Have you guys seen these before? Where you can include in like your hostess packets to just kind of get your hostesses to think outside of their close circle on who they can invite, or recommending that they think of their Franks list, you know, their friends, their relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, kids, friends, parents, and spouse, like people you know because of your spouse. Just trying to think outside of like your normal small circle of people who you can invite to these things. So I definitely encourage my hostesses to do that. Something I did want to mention is, you know, I do most of my parties as basket parties. I know that we need to be doing home parties, but I just have more people wanting to do the bag parties. So I have pre-recorded like a host coaching video. I recorded myself saying, you know, hi, I'm so excited that you're doing a Scentsy party with me and helping me grow my business. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. This video is going to explain to you everything you're going to be getting and some tips on how to have an awesome basket party. And so I actually have my basket, you know, and I say, this is what you're going to be getting. And inside, you're going to have 5 business cards. These are cards that you can keep, you can hand out to your friends, whatever. And then I go over, I always include these things in my basket parties. So how many of you have seen these like Hostess? Well, I guess it's called kind of like a host guide. Have you seen these? Shake your heads if you've seen these. Okay, some people have not. So I can post the link to this on Heather's page. It basically, it just says, thank you for hosting a Scentsy party. It says, please take a few minutes to read this packet. It can help to make your party a huge success. If you need assistance at any point, feel free to contact me. And it's this document that goes through, you print it out, I fold it in half, and then I laminate them and punch holes up here and like put a little ring on it, you know, put a ring on it. And then like on the back, like the second page says how to make the most as a host. And it goes through everything that we should really be telling our hostesses, like sharing the online party link, thinking of all your social circles to share with people, taking the scent testers or catalogs to work while visiting family or any other functions you attend. It just gives all kinds of things. The more you sell, the more you earn. It also gives them like the hostess rewards and what their party is and what they'll get for it. this could even be something that you actually kind of use to help yourself hostess coach people, you know, like when you meet up with them, if they're having a home party, you could bring this and give them one, even though it's not a bag party. It just gives all kinds of information, like who they are going to make the checks out to and what the tax,
I'm gonna change my shirt.
all of that kind of stuff is going to be. So I will post the link to this. It gives catalog tips. Sorry, I just think this thing is awesome. Every time we get a new catalog, I'm searching for this because this is something that I really encourage my hostesses to read. So in my video, I say you're getting a host guide, and I want you to take the time to read through this. I'm going to be contacting you to ask and see if you have any questions about it. It goes over join information, all kinds of stuff, like right here. So this, I put one of these in all of my bags. And then I say, you're going to get like 3 catalogs. And I show them in the catalog that the back opens up. So it's a quick, you know, seeing what we've got. And I make sure to tell them about the bundle and saves and how to upsell. So like if you have a person who has ordered 2 bars, you know, we have a 3-bar system. So suggest it to them. They might say no, but at least if they say yes, you're upselling them to a bar. So I go over that in my video. I go over the order forms. So I send, you know, 10 order forms. This one's not ready. It doesn't have order forms in it, but I have highlighted at the top, you know, the information that I want them to get. And I tell them I need this information because I follow up with all of my customers to make sure that they love their product and that they, you know, to make sure that things are working right. And so I need your help by getting that information. So I pre-record all of this. And then when somebody has a basket party, all I have to do is send them the video. Like I'll say, you know, I'm going to send you some videos to watch. They're short video clips. I think it's like all of like 10 minutes long maybe. And then I'm going to ask you if you have any questions. And it just, I pre-recorded it so that I make sure I say everything, because we've all been in that situation where we meet with someone and we talk to someone and then we're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to say this. So that's one thing that I have found a whole lot of success in, and it's made it easier on me because it's pre-recorded. Now, I do suggest that you update that often because I made mine probably a year ago and it needs updated because, like I said, I used to include like a tic-tac-toe thing in my basket parties for hostesses to like, you know, try to earn products. But now I'm going to be including, you know, the Earn Extras card on how they can earn extras in their bag. And this doesn't even have to really be for your repeat hostesses. It could be for a brand new hostess. You're just kind of shooting in the dark at the numbers. You know what I mean? Like you don't know what they've done in the past, so you just kind of guess. And they can still earn free stuff. So I need to update my video and talk about this. And I also include, oh, I should have been prepared and had a bag right here. Jason, is there a bag out there that you can bring me? I don't know if I have it, but it's a paper that basically says, pass on the bag to someone, and it says if you pass on the bag you get an extra prize. It's very ambiguous. I don't say what it is, and I have had people who have taken advantage of that more than they have the tic-tac-toe board that I used to do. So and I don't even know if I have it in there. Yeah, I do. Thanks, my helper. So it just says, and I can post this too, it says don't bring the basket back. It says, thank you for hosting a Scentsy basket party. You will earn the same host rewards as if you had an in-home party. When you're done collecting your orders, help find the next host to earn another reward on top of the rewards you already have. And I have had more people do this because I think not telling them what their reward is what gets them curious to know, okay, I want that extra reward. So that's what I have had the most success in, is pre-recording a video like that and sending that out. It's made it a whole lot easier. Does anyone want to jump in, or should I just keep going? Okay, I'm just going to keep going then. Okay, so in my research for this video, I also know that YouTube and the workstation are your best friends. Like anytime I need help with something, I go to YouTube and search it, or I go to the workstation and search it. So I went to the workstation and just typed in host coaching. And did you know that Scentsy has a host coaching checklist? Raise your hand if you knew that. Okay, a couple hands raised. So it is a host coaching checklist. It asks you to fill in the information on your host, and it gives you like timelines on what you can say and what you need to be doing at different points. So like they have what you need to do on session 1 right after booking your party. So it says, start a party on your PWS. Send your host a save the date email. Send her a host packet. Let your host know when you'll contact her next and invite her to contact you with questions. Okay, so you check it off after you get it done. Then session 2 is 3 to 4 days after the booking. And it gives you, call your host to confirm that she's got her host packet. Decide together how you're going to invite people. And I have seen, people saying that you should offer your hostesses to mail out invitations for them, just so that you make sure that they get sent out. Ask your host to start compiling her guest list and email it to you. Coach your host on the importance of over-inviting and share ideas for inviting more guests. So it goes through everything. So that's session 2, 3 to 4 days after booking. On the back, it has session 3, 1 week before the party, and it gives you things that you should do 1 week before. Session 4, about 24 to 48 hours before the party. And then what you need to do the day of the party, and what you do the day after the party, and how you follow up 1 to 2 weeks after. Like, Scentsy has this available for us to use. Like, why aren't we using it? I don't know, because I'm not using it either, but I need to. And that's what I've learned from this research is, you know what? I have resources available to me. I probably just need to use them. Something else that's really cool in this, and literally, I don't know that I could post this, but it is really on your workstation. You just search host coaching. They give like examples of what to say. So like on the save the date email example, they give you like verbatim an example. They also give you suggested things on what you should include in a host packet. So if you're like, I don't even know what to put in a host packet, because I didn't when I started, I had no clue. So it gives you a host letter, 2 catalogs, 2 to 3 host brochures, 2 to 3 join brochures. It tells you everything there.
It takes a little longer than that.
It also gives you a host letter example. What else is on here? I mean, it's pretty cool that they offer this for us. Yeah, they give you another host letter example. It says, use these items to invite guests or collect orders from anyone unable to attend your party. So, like, that's awesome right there. It gives you step-by-step what you could do and a timeline. So, I think that's super, super helpful. The last thing that I kind of wanted to share, and then we can open it up for questions because I feel like I've talked a lot. I want to share with you something that I do after the party is over. I know this is host coaching, but I think the whole point of host coaching is to have successful parties so that you have these hosts that want to host again, right? I mean, I think that's the whole goal. And we want to get more bookings from it. And even if you can't get a rebooking from it, maybe you can get this host to book with you in the future. So I do a host club. So we all have these groups for our customers, right? And we want to treat our customers good, but we should really be treating our hostesses even better than like our regular customers, because they're the ones who are doing a lot of the work for you, right? So I have a host club, and anytime someone hosts with me, they get to be an exclusive member of my host club. Okay. And I give them special perks that last for 6 months. Some of those perks include, like, they are the ones who are going to get the first peek at the new catalog. When I get a new catalog, you know how we get this cool information and we just want to share it out with everyone, but we kind of are supposed to like keep it on the down low because we're trying to like not hurt our sales for the current month, right? I don't do that with my hostesses. I let them know. That's a perk for them hosting with me. They get to know first thing whenever I know new stuff, whether it's the new catalog or whether it's like the next warmer and scent of the month. I send them a picture and say, this is November. Like, the hostesses who are in there, they already know what November's warmer is. The first day of the month, I send them a picture and say, hey, here's your perk. Here's the peak at the next warmer and scent of the month. I also give them a half off item the week of their birthday. And I'm going to use the perpetual party reward for that, right? So that I'm not breaking my bank. I'm going to give them that perk, like the extra half off that I typically use for myself or for my host gift. I'm going to give that to my hostesses. I also offer them $10 of extra free credit when they host again. Because you know what? I am willing to pay $10 to kind of solidify that I'm going to have a party in another 6 months. Does that make sense? Like, I want to give perks because that literally, I have people who host with me every 6 months because they know that they get a little extra. Now, granted, again, these things you cannot post on social media. Okay. And I have a VIP. Well, it's not a VIP. It's my host club on Facebook. I have a group that I add them to. I still, on that group, cannot say, hey, remember, you can get a half off. I don't do that. All of that communication you have to do in a one-to-one message. So I'll message them all and say, here's your perks. But I also like include this in their bag. It's just a little card that says everything that I'm reading to you right now. So in their gift bag, I put this and it says, welcome to my host club. Here are your perks. And it gives them all of that. I also offer free bulbs. Now, I'm not saying everybody has to do this. Don't break your bank, but I always have bulbs on hand. I use the free and half price items that I use from parties to stock up on these things. And now you might be thinking, well, gosh, they'll contact you and take you for bulbs all the time. Well, I'm going to do what Scentsy does. And in order to get a free bulb, they've got to give me their burnout one. So that's how I get it so that they aren't, ordering 5-packs of 25-watt bulbs from me. You know what I mean? 3 packs, whatever. They're also going to be the ones that I offer my samples to. So I am fortunate. My husband is my sample king. He makes like samples of everything for me. So we've got all kinds of samples from counter cleans to Scentsy soak, all of those specials that I don't always give everybody. I kind of hold on to those and give to like my special people. So they're the ones that every so often I, send them a list and say, here's the samples I have at the house, pick 3 and I'll get them to you. Or pick 5, whatever. And then I'm also going to offer discount shipping. And this is more for like, I do have some hostesses that live out of town from me, but they still host a party with me every 6 months. I can always count on them. So you know what? I'll pay half of your $4 shipping to get you something, because a lot of times people don't want to pay shipping. So they get these perks for 6 months. In order to stay in the host club, they've got to host another party with me in 6 months. If not, they get taken out of the host club. So this is something, I actually got this idea from Reunion. I loved it. I thought it was one of my aha moments. The lady said, you give, what did she say? You give your customers random orders, you give the grass. Your customers, you give the milk, but to your hostesses, you give the whole cow. Like, you want to treat your hostesses the best so that they will come back and host with you again. So, and then at the bottom, it also says, to make sure you continue to receive these perks past the 6 months, all that's needed is to book a party with me after the new catalog release. And then it says, ask me about my current special if you rebook today. So those are my ideas. I hope that you have learned something from it. We have about, I know, like that's all I have planned to talk about. We have about, 20 minutes left. I guess we can open it up for questions. I haven't been checking the chat. Or does anyone else have something that they'd like to share? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions or anything. Nothing? We got nothing? Crickets? All these people and we got crickets?
Hey, I actually had a hard time logging on when it first started, so I missed kind of what you said in the beginning. I hopped on when you were talking about your earn extras thing, so did I miss anything like mind-blowing before that?
Well, I'd love to say yes. You missed a huge bunch of mind-blowing things. I think you probably just missed the fact that we really need our hostesses to be excited, because I think the two main things that it comes down to having a successful party is your hostess being excited and getting people to the party, whether that means inviting them or sharing the bag with them if you're doing an on-the-go party, or getting people to attend your Facebook party. And so we just talked about ideas on how to get the hostess excited, especially making their wish list. So before the party ever starts, give her a catalog and let her look through the catalog and make her wish list. Don't think of anything. If you had, all the money in the world, or if your party is huge, what do you want? What's your favorites? And then have her send that to you. And then with that, think of, okay, what would her party need to be for her to get all of this stuff either free or half price? And then give her that number to shoot for, because I think without a goal, a lot of people think, okay, I only need $200 in orders. Like they think, okay, so I'm just shooting for 200. I still have hostesses that do that, but I think that's because a lot of times I say, oh, you only need $200 to get a party. Like, I think we need to change the way we're saying it and say, well, my average party is 500. Even if your average parties aren't 500, say it. Do you know what I mean? Like, say it, and then that gets them in their head, well, her average parties are 500, so she's got some $1,000 parties, and she's got some 200. You know what I mean? Like, they're probably going to think, you know what? I'm going to shoot for that 500, because that's what most of her parties are. And because that's really where we want to get them, because that's where they get a lot of their rewards. They jump from, what is it, like $49 in free up to $75 in free. Like, you can get a whole lot more for that. So trying to get them excited and motivated, because they are essentially the ones who are doing the legwork. Like, we know if you can get people to a party, as long as they're smelling our stuff and seeing it in person and stuff like that, people are going to fall in love with stuff. I mean, and getting them to share what they love. A lot of my most successful hostesses are the ones that use Scentsy a lot and share with their people who are buying what they love. Oh, smell this room spray that I use. I love it. And we've all had those parties where, oh my gosh, everybody in this party bought Eskimo Kiss. Probably because your hostess loved Eskimo Kiss and suggested it to all of her people. You know what I mean? So trying to get our hostesses excited. I think that's probably the thing that you missed. Yeah, I think that's probably it. But we're recording this and I will upload it. Well, I'll probably send it to Heather and ask her where she wants it uploaded. So that you can always rewatch it from the beginning if we didn't miss anything else. Does that answer your question? Okay, good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have any questions? It doesn't even have to be about hostess coaching. Do you have any questions that we can help you answer? Amy, do you have anything?
I have to apologize. I missed the last like 5 or so minutes because my daughter's ninja coach was talking about something, so I had it down. So I am not sure what was talked about, and I apologize. And I didn't really hear the questions either, but I don't know if this was covered. I meant to say it earlier and I forgot. Did you say anything about like collecting pre-orders in the party or coaching your hostess to do that?
Not really.
Okay, so I think that's my screen's black, like I'm in here, but there's no light in my car, so it's black. But I'll just talk. So I always try to get my hostess, I always coach her to get some pre-orders as well. I always make a goal of at least 200. If they get 200, then they get a gift from me. Only because just in case, you know, the numbers low at the party, it gets her to work a little bit harder. And then like in turn, it gets her to work harder for inviting people as well. So it's just to kind of get your host like active and, you know, just like before the party, during the party, and then, you know, then we teach like after the party to also be proactive and say, you know, if there's any last minute orders, but I always try to do it before versus after because I don't like keeping it open. So yeah, so I just do like, it can be something little, it can be totally like anything you want. A Scentsy bar, I mean, if they get like $500 in pre-orders, like I would even do like a mini warmer, but like 200, I'll do like a Scentsy bar, give them like a 3-pack of bars. It's really up to you and your budget and whatever you want to do with it. So that's another thing I like to host them on or coach them on, sorry. So I wanted to throw that in real fast before it ends. But other than that, I mean, you covered a lot of what I would say anyways, and, you know, the workstation has resources on everything. So YouTube, it's perfect.
Yeah, I even went to the training center and just typed in host coaching. And there are like videos of superstar directors talking about host coaching, and they mentioned a lot of this stuff. I even just went to Google and searched host coaching and found like some articles, and it, you know, basically said some others. I printed one off and I'm looking over to see if I missed anything. It did talk about like making sure your host follows through with all of those people who have not RSVP'd. So like whether that means a home party or a Facebook party, for everybody who has not RSVP'd, your host needs to reach out to them. And they should ask everyone who's not attending if they want to order from the catalog. And it says asking every guest does not mean putting a blast on Facebook. That doesn't count. The host should personally call or text, or better yet, ask in person, you know, saying, hey, Chris, I wanted to remind you about the Scentsy party Thursday. And if they say they can't make it, well, I can still submit an order for you. Did you look through the website or catalog yet? Or do you need one? Like, sometimes our hostesses need us to say, like, okay, this is what you can say if they say no. Because I think they think they'll be bothering people, but if you give them the right words, and sometimes people don't know the words to say. So giving them kind of, you know, if people say no, they're not coming, this is what you can respond with. So that was a good idea. Sorry, I'm reading this. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The last sentence, this is really important. It says, effective coaching increases attendance, sales, and your paycheck. A little tidbit there. So I think a lot of times we think we're bothering our hosts by like reaching out to them, but really, like, we're the experts in this. We know what it takes to have a successful party. A lot of our hostesses aren't. So we need to assume they don't know. And if it's someone that you think, oh, they already know this already, just humor me. I need to say this because it's part of my job, you know? So yeah.
I think there were a couple questions on the chat.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm Vicky. I'm working on my first house party. I'm so nervous in doing it. Do you have any tips to ease that anxiety? Oh, Vicky, I get you. Because I've been doing this for like over 2 years, and I've had like, I hate to say this, but maybe like at most like 4 home parties. And every time I have a home party, I'm super nervous. I have one in November and I'm super nervous too. I would say, honestly, kind of map out everything you want to do. I think if you do that for a party, like map out, what am I taking? Maybe even practice, like set your setup, like in your house. What do you want your setup to look like? And kind of like I said, map out what you want to do. What games do you want to play? Get that in your head. I think that will really help. I think sometimes having a home party just seems overwhelming with everything you've got to do and you don't know where to start. I think if you plan those things out, that might help. Also, just remember that when people get together with the host, it tends to be kind of more like a hangout, and it kind of takes the pressure off of you because they're there. Yes, they're there for Scentsy, but they're there for their friends, and they're there, to just have fun. So, does anybody else have any tips to ease anxiety for home parties?
So I wanted to say really fast on that too. I have like major anxiety. I know a lot of people do. And, like full out, like panic attacks, whatever. But I do like doing home parties. But what helps me, I'm not saying it'll help you the same, but when everybody walks in the door, I always make sure to go up and like introduce myself and kind of meet them, get to know their name. It calms me down whenever I'm like doing any type of presentation to look at faces that I actually just met versus all strangers just sitting there looking at me. I feel a little bit more relaxed, like I've already had conversations, it's a little bit more laid back. So that helps me a little bit and it's also better for you because then it's more personal versus just some person who's up there standing. So that's what I try to do at every single home party I do, and that helps me. So it's worth a shot. I don't know, everybody's different. So that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Take it off of my screen.
I can't. It's black. I feel bad. I can't turn the light though because I'm driving. So
it's okay. Yeah, I hope did that help, Vicki? Okay, Heather says, I love the club idea. Could you post your extras for your host? I absolutely can. You're talking about my host club, right? This one. And I made this in Canva. So if you guys didn't watch Heather's training last Tuesday on Canva, it really is super easy to figure out. Okay, Sandy says, regarding home parties and Vicki's question, be organized. Know what you want to do and in what order. You can use a 3x5 card to write notes to yourself. Do an icebreaker, some fun activity with a small prize. Yep, those are all great ideas. And smile. That's a good, yep. That always makes people relax. Awesome. Okay, what's our time? Told Heather, I'm like, I don't know if I can talk for an hour. That's a long time. I have 8:49. Does anyone else have anything? I hate that it didn't last. Go ahead.
Hey, so I had a home party this last weekend with my best friend Susan, and I don't have the necklaces here, but I had some necklaces that were blingy, and they blinked, and I gave it to her, and she had to wear it and had a scent circle on it, and in order to get them to stop blinking, she had to get a party booked. So she wore it through the whole game, but the game that got the party booked, because we all were laughing so hard we almost peed our pants, was the Never Have I Ever game. So everybody got coins, and they had to go around and say, never have I ever. Like one of them was getting a bar fight, and we all lost it when Susan got up and had to give her coins to everybody. So that was a fun like icebreaker, get everybody laughing, take the pressure off the hostess, take the pressure off of the consultant, and just a different way of getting to know people. And when we were done with that game, one of the ladies went, I don't want to be done with this game. Can we play it at my home party? I'll book a party. So yeah, that was kind of fun.
That's awesome. So what if you say never have I ever, and you say what you've never done, if somebody else has done that, then they lose their coins or their tickets or whatever.
Yep. Then they have to give the coin to the person that hasn't done it. So yeah, we did like 3 people, and then the 4th person was like, I don't know. And so me being a smart aleck, I just said, I don't know. Never have I ever gotten a bar fight. And she's like, oh, that's a good one. And our hostess, who you've met, my best friend Susan, she was like, yep, that was me. And her mom was there. Her mom had no idea, so it was a riot. Her mom was like, wait, what? When did you get in a bar fight? We need to hear this story. So yeah, it was really fun. And some of the stuff was silly, and some of the stuff was, whatever. But
Susan got into a bar fight.
yeah, Susan got into a bar fight. Yep, years ago.
That's just a good reminder, because every time I think of doing games at a home party, I'm always like, well, it has to be Scentsy related, but it doesn't. It just has to be like something fun like that,
Yeah.
An icebreaker game, just to get people having fun, because that's what people come to a party for.
Yeah. And then, of course, I do the Scentsy story game with this passing the scent circle, and that, was a riot. And, I do some Scentsy related games, and they always get a Scentsy prize.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that one was a hit, so that one is being added to my list of games that are perfect.
Mm-hmm. I really want to do the headbands game that they showed at Reunion, where you take, the kids' headbands game, where you have that on your head, and everybody puts like a Scentsy thing in it, and then you have to go around and I guess one person, they have to ask questions to get to what their thing is. Does that make sense? So like if you have washer wish, you can say, am I a bar? No. Am I, they have to ask questions to get to know what is on their head. It was so much fun. People were laughing, and it got them talking about the products. So I really want to try that one. Okay. Anybody else have anything?
I actually have a really good picture of Heather Gorsuch with the headband game at Reunion that I'll post on her page if she wants me to. I'm sure she would really like it. It's awesome.
I bet she will. Yeah, for those of you who join later, if you don't know, I'm not Heather Gorsuch, even though that's my name on here. I'm just logged into her account. I'm Michelle Kimball instead. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.